Alright, get ready for it. Here it is, the truth behind the Tupac and Dr. Dre beef. Now, here's what a lot of people knew and a lot of stuff you didn't probably know, but here it is. This goes all the way back to the beginning. Tupac had let me see, Round and Round, I Get Around. Now, this when he started coming into his own when I Get Around came out. Now, when I Get Around and he's blowing up on the second LP, Tupac was spending a lot of time on the East Coast promoting his album. So, he was going back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast. He was doing a couple of movies out here. And then he'll go back to LA. Dre at the time had just blew up with Snoop on the Chronic, so they was working on Snoop's album. And Snoop and they met Tupac and at what was that, the Natural Born Killer set. And everybody's like, oh man, like the Natural Born Killers album is getting ready to come out and it's gonna be large and this is it. But everybody's waiting on Snoop's solo project. And that was what was big. But Above the Rim, that's when they really met each other for the first time and was like, oh, what's up, Pac, and this and that. So during the soundtrack, Suge is like, man, you should need to come on over to the road. I take care of all your problems for you. Suge then took care of Pac's lawyers. Like all his court cases that he had that was pending from the Living Color incident, Suge paid off the lawyers. He gave him almost an album budget just because he could. Here's $500,000, just right off the top. Gave him $500K. Here's a check for $500K for the song that appeared on the EP. It didn't even appear on the album. Dre and them was executive producer in the album. So they was like, well, we already got the songs. We don't need these songs that Pac gave us. We already got a Tupac song on there. Let's just we'll put it on an EP. So Pain was on the EP, I think. And it was one of the best songs on there, next to Big Pimpin'. But everybody was, focused on Snoop's album. Man, Snoop finna get ready to be the biggest thing in the world when he dropped. Because everybody's waiting because of Dre's album. So Dre's on top of the world and Pac is on Interscope. Pac got an album out because he was working on Thug Life at the time and he was working on his album Thug Style. He was dropping Thug Style and he was dropping Thug Life album at the same time. They were going to both come out one behind each other, 1 and 2. That was his plan. He had so many albums ready to go for his third CD. It was crazy. So he had the album ready to be going, pressed and released. Thug Life, they was working on that, and they listening to Tupac album, and they like, whoa, it's like a trip, cause Pac already, on the album, he got song. It's just like the same verse he gave on MC Breed album when he was talking about some mind on my money. He's like, what he say? Money on my mind, mind on my money on my mind, finger on the trigger, hand on my nine. When Pac was using that, and then Snoop, they was listening to the album. Man, that Pac is knocking. He's listening to Tupac album, and they start taking bits and pieces off of it. Then on Gin and Juice, with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. That was Tupac's, one of his tracks that he took it from, and they was taking all that biatch, all that. That was a Tupac sayings that he was using on the album. If you go back and listen to Thug Style, you'll hear a lot of the flavor that was used on that album was used on Doggy Style. And they were there listening to the album. Pac cussed Interscope out for letting his album just let loose like that where people could listen to it. Because it was Dre and them, they felt it was cool. Like, oh, well, it was Dre and them. Like, well, they can do whatever they want. So, Pac said, you know what? I'm destroying the album. I'm destroying it. I'm not going to release the album. So, once that happened and he destroyed the entire album, it's like, I'm not giving him this album. You know, his court case came up. And Jimmy Iovine and the rest of those guys there, they basically knew Tupac was going to jail. It is very weird how that works. It's a lot of politics involved with that. Once Tupac decided that he was going to pull the plug on the album, all of a sudden his case went from a probationary period to absolute penitentiary. Like he got to do jail time. Period. And I'm trying to tell you, Jimmy Iovine is one of the most powerful men in the game. So Pac got to get some affairs in order because they told him he got to do some jail time. So Pac's like, whatever. They finna take him to custody for this little case here. And this is before the big case. Now, Pac need Interscope at this point. Because his money's running low. They're not hiring him to do shows. His movie just got scrapped. He's in a bad spot. He done fought the Hughes brothers. Gotta do some time on that. And all of a sudden, nobody wants to. He can't do any shows. It's all Snoop, Dre. They getting and the whole Warren G came along. And Pac was just going off. Man, fuck Dre, Monk, Snoop, Warren G, and all them. They some biters. It's not even cold. It's not even tight. They whack. So Pac never liked them behind that. Just competitive jealousy of Dre getting all the airplay and getting the spins. Man, they playing that whack over and over again. He ain't even rhyming. So that was Pac's attitude because he wanted to spin. Man, play that thug life. That's that realness. So, you know, my man Big Sight. So that's how Pac's attitude was towards getting his music played. And actually, he had fell out with Natasha because Natasha was on Thug Life album. Then Natasha actually did some work with Thuggish Ruggish Bone. And it was when the Bone came out, Bone blew up. Selling 4 million records and all of this stuff, and now Bone is the biggest thing in the world, and Thug Life is out, and Pac's like, he trying to promote Thug Life. Pac is like, whoa, hold on. People getting us confused. We not the fake thuggish, ruggish, whatever. We ain't no fake thugs like that. This Thug Life, this the real deal. You know, and that's how he was advertising it. So Bone Thugs had a little problem. Like, man, what's wrong with dude? Why he riding on us like this? You know, like, he just dissing us on national TV and everything. And it was because they was working with Natasha and that was his homegirl. And he didn't want to see his homegirl. She was like, look, I had an opportunity. It was just a money thing, you know, like, but you know, I'm with the family. So he was like, all right, cool. Like, Tasha's still Tasha. But that's just Pac acting out. He's just trying to get some sales for what was going on with Thug Life. They had put all this work together. But Pac knew he was going to jail. So he had to record an introspective album. And that's what he called it. Man, you know, I got to get some money. And that's he's like, dude, I got to get this money fast. I swear to you, this is how quick he did Me Against the World album, and probably like everybody talk about how fast he did that album. He did Me Against the World quicker than that. He did Me Against the World album, I swear the whole album was completed in about 3 weeks. The whole album of Me Against the World was completed in 3 weeks, if not less. Pac did the album. He did a professional photo shoot. And if you look at the album cover, you look at the photos of that one, it's a whole different Tupac. you couldn't relate to Tupac. Like, man, that's Tupac. You know, it was completely different. You look at him, he looked like a young Malcolm X or somebody on Me Against the World. He was entirely different. But the content was still good. Like, it was rugged, but it had meaning. Even Outlaw, Death Around the Corner. And some people say that was Tupac's greatest album. I've heard people say that. It had a lot of great rhymes on that song. And great songs, period. And that's what he was trying to get back to in the next album he was going to put out. After that Machiavelli album, he was going to put out another Me Against the World type of introspective album, is what he calls it. Because the people was ready for it. And that's what he wanted to do and complete. That's why he recorded some of the songs and already, and you heard them and mixed on some of the Machiavellis that came out. And they was like, man, that's a nice track. But he had made an introspective album, which was more like into different things, politics and God. And, you know, he was trying to show the world that he was versatile, that he could turn it on, off, and make any type of record he could. So he had to make that album because he needed radio spins. He needed airplay. He needed his record out on the streets. With Dre taking up all the slack, he needed some space. So he called up Tretch because he went in. You know, he didn't know he was actually going to jail, but he knew he needed the money for his lawyers. So he called Tretch up and was like, Tretch, like, man, you know, he had just got shot up. He's just going to jail. And everything was crazy at the time. So when he was going into jail and, you know, they want to do some videos, Tretch is like, man, we got you. Like, don't worry. Tretch set all that stuff up for his videos. Temptations, Tretch did all that for him. Dear Mama was done. Everybody did these videos up for Pac. And they came out to ride for him. So Pac had nothing but the utmost respect and love from everybody at the time. Like West Coast, East Coast. And Pac was messing with Salt from Salt and Pepper a little bit, you know, at the time. So, you know, things was it was it was a little crazy at the time, but I don't want to go into that situation. That's why I stopped. So we're going to just get off that and transition this one into Suge coming to bail him out. Suge bailed Tupac out. They put him in, like, I think the Windsor Suites. And right away he called Natasha, like, Tasha, you know, like get your butt in the studio. We finna start recording these songs. So he got only the people that he was rolling with, because he had to trim out some of the people that was in Thug Life because he didn't feel like they was riding with him, and they kind of set him up. So he kicked them out of Thug Life and only took the people that was rolling with him. You know, and, you know, everybody was there. So all of a sudden he got his original crew that he really cool with him. And then he's in the studio, and then somebody called him back in the trailer. Like, he called Natasha back in the trailer, like, what? So you with Dre now, huh? You Death Row. Oh, man. So you with that phony fat MF, this, that, that. I'm taking over Death Row. I'm the man now. I'm finna change it all. And see, and he was in the video with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Tupac appears at the end of that video for Natural Born Killers. And he's the sniper at the end when he shoot Ice Cube at the window. And when that came out, and I told you he was on the set, and when he met Dre now, he was asked to come to Death Row, and he was like, man, I can't come there. Y'all got too many stars. Yeah, y'all just got too many stars. I can't have these dudes outshine me. But Suge always loved Pac's energy and loved everything he was doing. So Dre didn't like the fact Pac was coming to Death Row. Dre was like, we already got a good thing going. Boy, right here. And Dre's like, wait a minute. This was done behind my back. And this, how did this happen? Suge's hiring the talent? You know, because Pac comes in there. Dre was actually in there. They was mixing some songs. Actually, they was working on California Love, which is California Love is a completed song with Dre lyrics. Like there's like I think 3 verses from Dr. Dre on California Love, and it's a completed song. But what happened was Pac came in and introduced himself. Quick was there, and Dre, and then this other producer that was there that mastered the album. That's why Tupac's album is probably one of the best sounding albums in Death Row's history. His album was like the first like digital audio sound completed with everything. Like you could hear it laser clear. And rap albums like that wasn't normally the bass is too loud, the treble is a little messed up. That's a well-balanced musical album. If you don't believe me, listen to Scandalous. And you listen to the music and listen to that in surround sound, you're going to be blown away. But what happened was, they're in the studio, Pac come in there, he hug everybody. Man, I'm finna be working with y'all, man. This is crazy, man. I can't wait when we ready to get to work, man. Yeah, we finna do this, man. I'm out. You know, I'm finna do this, blah, 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 blah. Finna get that weed, roll that weed up, man. Man, it's finna be crazy, man. We finna get this work done. So Dre was like, yeah, all right, yeah. So they roll up out. And Dre was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, man. And he was like, what? It's like, now he hiring talent? That's my job. Nobody's supposed to hire no talent. Now Suge. And Suge, it was more about Suge than it was about just Tupac. Dre was upset about his creative control was being taken over. You know, it was already one thing Suge was doing that he wasn't supposed to do. And now all of a sudden, now he's hiring people and put them on the label. And that was Dre's job. Dre was in charge of talent and creative activity. Suge was supposed to be in the background only and just getting his checks. Now Suge is all out in the front. You know, taking pictures with Stogie. Now he's being sought out as like, I'm the big figure in the company now. When before, he was getting on people like Puffy for stealing the spotlight from the artist. Now all of a sudden, Suge is in the spotlight. You know, he becoming a celebrity. He doing all these interviews. Dre was like, man, I'm out. So during these days, right, it's just, alright, we're gonna get the beat done for California Love, and Pac's like, Pac work ethic is different, okay, than anybody else. The man is a workaholic. The man was putting out songs like crazy, and they wanted Dre was supposed to be on like 2-3 tracks. So Dre gave him California Love. He said, you know what? I got this joint, this track, California Love. He's like, it'd be perfect, man. He played it, and he was like, man, you know, Pac did his part, and then he put the streets in there and did that for his verse, and then Dre just put one of his verses on there, and they cut out the other part. And then Dre them, they barely mixed it. Like, they didn't get it finished all the way they wanted to, because Pac was supposed to go lay another verse than Dre was, but the radio was so hot they wanted to get it out right now because the record was just hot. So they just mixed down that one version, like a LA version, Then they did an East Coast version later, but they put the West Coast version out, and that was the one that they originally did. And when they put that out, it was just a smash everywhere. So people blasting it, and they was just like, man, we don't even need to do another version. But he's like, when we make the video, we're going to make 2 versions. We're going to make one for the East Coast version. That's going to be like Road Warriors. They getting the theme going. And Jada Pinkett was involved. And she was supposed to be, you know, all up in the videos and you know, and she was going to be a major factor in it because she created it. So in the beginning, when you see Jada there and all that stuff, and she's supposed to be more involved, and it's supposed to be like a little mini movie. But Will Smith kind of pulled a plug on that because he was like, I don't think I need you in that scenario with Suge Knight and all that stuff. So, and the Tupac thing, and it's just a little too crazy right now. So he kind of like pulled her back. You know, he wouldn't allow her to do this, just do that. So, you know, Pac was going off, oh man, Will's a bitch. And so they getting ready to finish rapping on California Love and everything. And Natasha's on the set, and, you know, Pac going off talking about, yeah, your boyfriend, man, that big faggot, and da-da-da-da, this and that. This and Dr. Dre, and she go up there, and because her and Dre was dating at the time. So she was just like, alright, well, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And so she roll out, and then she tells Dre, like, man, man, they just dissing. And he was like, man, I know. And he's like, I ain't have to give him that my song either. He's like, I didn't have to give him my track. But he's like, that's alright. I'm already gone. I already got my deal. He's like, that's why. He's like, they ain't gonna never see me no more. He's like, that's the last time they gonna see me. And it was actually the video rap party was the last time they seen him. Because everybody thought Dre was finna take all the masters and leave. And they was like, man, Dre took a whole bunch of songs with him and left. But the truth of it is Dre had already took some songs. But Pac was mad at Dre because they waiting on all day for Dre to make a beat. And that's when he was like, man, F Dre, man. F Dre, we don't need him. He can go. He ain't doing nothing. Everybody else producing the records. He was like, man, we waiting on 3 days. He still ain't gave us the beat that he's supposed to do. And that was for the song that y'all eventually heard called Niggas Can't See Me. Dre, that wasn't supposed to have that beat on it. It was supposed to be another track that Dre was supposed to provide for that song. And he's like, Dre, I'm ready to lay the vocals. Like, where's the beat? You know, like, Dre's, but we waiting on Dre. Everybody like, man, dude, just drop it to my beat. Parker's like, I got people giving me tapes outside. And I'm waiting on Dre. Just so I could put his name on it. He's like, we got to get this dude credits and put it on. Everybody else is making the tracks, and we got to put Dre's name on it to make it look like he's doing something when he ain't. Because Daz did like 2 songs, and then they gave the credit to Dre. Another man did a track, and they put Dre's name on it. So it was crazy. And when the song came out, you know, when the whole thing came out, they took the one he had for like Snoop, What's My Name? They just took that track and just re-looped it and let Pac rap on that. So it was bad, man. Like, for that purpose, that's when Pac was really through with him. Like, but he didn't see Dre. Like, Dre came there, Pac wasn't even there because Pac had already left. Like, F Dre, da da da. So Dre showed up with the actual reels for California Love, like the master copy, remastered, did. And this was at the party. And that was the last time they seen Dre. He had the songs all mastered. He gave them to him. Like, man, here's the finished reels for California Love. And then he was up. And then that's when Suge had came back and he had told everybody, man, yeah, Dre scary ass, he gone. But he didn't get no money though. But yeah, he gone. He signed his paperwork. He gone from the road. Yep. So he's like, I got all the company. I got it all to myself now. He gone. So Dre and Pac come and they had a meeting with Suge. Suge put him, gave him a headlock, walked with him, and then he comes back. Hey y'all, did y'all know Dre was sucking you know what and da-da-da-da. All of this attack on Dre. All of this attack on Dr. Dre. Everything was about Dre. It was nothing else about Big E. It was always, it went from that to Dre. And this is before Hit 'Em Up came out. He's just taking shots at Dre. Then all of a sudden, Dr. Dre is gone and he's in hiding, y'all. He's hiding from Suge. Because Suge is like, there's only one way you leave the road. And so he looking over his shoulder. He thinking something happened to him. So he's under protection. He was hiding out at Jimmy Iovine's house. Jimmy Iovine hit him out. And he's like, y'all, just stay in hiding. You got your money. He got his record label, Aftermath. And he just building that. But staying at Jimmy's and staying out of sight. Because he thinking he could be killed at any time with Suge. So he just laying low, getting ready to do his thing. So he started working more on the East Coast. Like working with Nas, working with the firm, and he's finna just start working with, doing stuff with LL, and he trying to get the East Coast going because his LA thing right now is on hold. Because, it's just not safe for him to be traveling all over the place. So he comes out with his album, The Aftermath, getting ready to launch the Aftermath Records, and it ain't really take off, but he got a hit with the East Coast group, the Black Street, with Teddy Riley, and he was Dr. Dre, the No Diggity record, and the No Diggity is blowing up, like it's like huge. So of course what Tupac does is immediately go to the studio. They took the record, took the beat, changed it up, and here come Toss It Up. Same beat, there's No Diggity, and then he dissing Dre on the record. And right then and there, the war was getting ready to really kick off with Dre and Tupac. Because Dre was like, man, he's silly. Like, man, that's a silly dude. He's like, why you want to start a war with somebody? Because now the East Coast, they ain't even dealing with you. They don't even want to play your records. He's like, now how stupid are you to keep making diss records talking about killing the East Coast and all this craziness? Now you have both sides playing your records. Now he had never sell that many records again. Because now the East Coast, they won't even play his records. He's like, well, who on the East Coast will be bumping Tupac when he talking about F the East Coast? And you talking about the people on the East Coast that ain't even warm with you. So Dre was just like, man, he's an idiot. I'm not going to respond to him. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't homeboys. We never kicked it. Like that. He never really was cool with me like that. So for him to come out and talk about Dr. Dre, that's what Dre's like, you don't even know me. But he knew where Suge like basically put a battery in his back. But, it was pretty much done there. And then they was trying to locate Dre at the time. So Pac called up Natasha, had her come over to that hotel room. She came over with some of her homegirls, and Pac had all these thugs there, like they was finna try to extort her to get the information to where Dre was, and she was showed up with these girls because she didn't know what was going on. Pac was cool, and he was salty, like, what you bring these other girls for? Like, you messed up the plans. And she wondering, like, what are these dudes doing here? These big swole prison looking dudes. Like, what was y'all gonna do if I came over by myself? So she was thinking, like, let me get out of here, because, like, this smelled like something went wrong, like it was a setup. Like, they was gonna try to get the information to, like, where Dre was. It was just really, really not a good situation. So the beef was just, it was just a situation where Dr. Dre and Tupac was on two different levels as far as where they wanted to go. Pac wanted to, he was just coming out of jail, he was home. He's ready to take off. They have way two different work ethics. Dre is somebody gonna sit back, wait till something right. Pac gotta be the boss. He gotta dictate. He's very vocal, very loud. Those two weren't gonna mesh. Because Dre would not keep up with that work ethic. That's why he only produces like 2 songs, 3 songs. He can't produce an entire album. He's too meticulous, looking for the right beats and sounds. And then Tupac dies, and a little bit after, before the Toss 'Em Up video even came out, you know, it's like they released Toss It Up video like 2 weeks or a week after he died. So the video's out, and you can't really respond to it, but then he's talking about Dr. Dre and all this stuff on there. And everybody's just like, man, that's just, you know, foul. But that's really what the whole thing was about. Was his jealousy of the fact that Dre was bigger than him at the time. And what happened with his album. Natasha, who was part of the Day Crew with Thug Life, and then she dating Dre, and, you know. It is what it was, man. But I'm out. And that's it, and that's as far as that beef went, and now you know it all. But I'm gone.